Hi, I'm Jonathan Greene. I'm an accredited VA attorney, and I'm here with my partner, Dan Marusak, who's also a VA-accredited attorney. We're going to be talking about the PACT Act. So, Dan, you hear a lot about the PACT Act, especially in our line of work.
Yep.
What exactly is the PACT Act?
Well, the PACT Act stands for honoring our promise to address comprehensive toxic acts, and that was signed in 2022. It expanded healthcare and disability benefits for veterans that were exposed to Teras, which were toxic exposure risk activities. And so that's primarily covered Gulf War I and II, post 9/11 veterans, and Vietnam veterans as well.
Right, and we just wanted to mention that it was in honor of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, who served in Iraq in the early 2000s and died after a battle with lung cancer. And I believe it was his wife and his mother-in-law who became very strong advocates for people who suffer from exposure to burn pits. So you got into Teras.
Mm-hmm.
So Teras, toxic exposure risk activity. What kind of stuff are we talking about with the Teras?
So there's different types, I guess you could say. The airborne Teras, so exposure to burn pits, for example, mostly Afghanistan, Gulf War era for that. Then there's chemical exposures such as Agent Orange exposure, which Thailand and Vietnam veterans were exposed to. And then radiation is also included in that list.
And so you served in Afghanistan. Can you tell our audience what is a burn pit?
So every base basically had a burn pit to dispose of all trash. So there obviously wasn't a trash service, so everything went into the burn pit: food, batteries, oil, everything got disposed of.
Human waste.
Yeah, human waste, all kinds of things got thrown into the burn pit to dispose of it. So they were usually located on the exterior of the base if possible, but they're constantly burning and
everyone's just breathing it in.
Yeah, depending on the winds, it would go across the entire base. So
okay, so we're mentioned Gulf War I, post 1990, Gulf War II, and then post 9/11, and also Vietnam. So what are some of the presumptive conditions that the Gulf Wars I and II and the post 9/11 veterans are now entitled to?
So those are, you'd think, mostly airborne contaminants. So a lot of lung conditions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you want to look, there's a full list on VA's website. So on all these, it's a pretty extensive list for all the presumptive conditions. So I recommend looking it up. But for post 9/11 and specifically burn pits, mostly
respiratory
lung conditions. It's also included are a number of cancers. So there's the respiratory, and then the cancers: brain cancer, neck cancer, internal gastrointestinal cancers, kidney cancer, things like that are included on the list. So
okay, and then what about the Vietnam era veterans? Because they had already had a number of conditions that
Right.
was presumptively linked to exposure to Agent Orange, but what did it expand it to?
So only 2 conditions were added to the list. Like you said, there's already a pretty substantial presumptive list for Agent Orange. The major one being high blood pressure or hypertension, and then the other one being MGUS, which is a pretty rare condition.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to pronounce it for you, but if you have it, you know what it stands for. And then hypertension's one that for years we had been kind of fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that that's now included on the list of presumptive conditions. So the PACT Act is now, it has now been around for a few years. How did the dates work for claims and things like that?
So originally it went into effect in September of 2022. The effective date, as long as you filed a claim within a year, was August 2022. So in early 2023, if you had filed a claim, you get an effective date for the benefit back to August 2022. We are now past that date, so it will be the date you file the claim. We still encourage you to file a claim if you have any of these presumptive conditions and served in in a location that would entitle you to benefits. So.
And that the effective dates from when the act was signed would still come into play for any appeals that happened for those claims that were made within a year of August 2022. So good stuff to keep in mind. All right, well, that's all we have for you today on PACT Act. And if you want to find more information or talk about your claims, you can find us on our website. Thank you.